Welcome in to the Charge On podcast. On this podcast, we equip believers to live out their faith in the real world. My name is Dallas Wilson. I'm your host, and I'm joined, as always, by Pastor Wayne Bray. Pastor Wayne, how we doing today?
Doing good, man. How about you, Dallas?
My day's off to a decent start.
Good.
I had to go to the dentist this morning. I'm not a big dentist guy.
Wow, dentist before, and this is still morning.
Yeah, we're recording on Wednesday. I do early morning, 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
Some people like the dentist.
I hate it.
I have the best dentist in the world, Scott Rogers. He's a church member.
I love dentists as people. I do not like going to the dentist.
Yeah, but here's a little hack though. I never cancel a dentist appointment. I just got to get out of the way.
I find every reason possible to avoid them.
I never cancel. So
Amy loves getting her teeth cleaned.
So
it's a little weird, to be honest with you.
I don't like people poking things in my mouth, just as a general rule.
Well, I'm just like, I can clean my own teeth.
Pretty self-sufficient guy.
Yeah. But anyway.
Thank
you for making it anyway.
My Wednesday's off to a great start. I hope yours is. You didn't have to go to the dentist this morning.
So it's a good start.
Doing better. Man, it's busy times here at First Baptist Simpsonville Upstate Church. Yep. A lot going on. We just wrapped up our Encounter initiative. Just had some big announcements this past Sunday. We'll talk about those in just a second. And we're recording this October 29th. It is my mother-in-law's birthday. I just remember that. Need to text her in a little bit until her birthday. Sherry Wilson's birthday today as well.
Oh, happy birthday, Sherry.
If you're listening.
Sherry's the greatest person alive.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my mother-in-law, Nancy, and Sherry are both going to listen to this. So happy birthday,
guys.
So
they're equal is what you're saying.
I love them both dearly, yes. Are you trying to get me in trouble here? What's going on, bro?
I'm just saying the same of my mother-in-law.
Okay.
Just in case.
When's your mother-in-law's birthday?
You put me on the spot like that. Every day I celebrate Sandra Pike's birthday.
Hey, man,
She's an amazing woman.
We do love Graham. But we're recording this October 29th. Halloween's right around the corner, man.
You mean Reformation Day?
Reformation Day is what the real Christians call Halloween.
Or at least a certain segment of the Christian faith.
Are you not a Reformation Day guy?
I don't necessarily put that on my profile on October 31st, as many of my friends do.
Man, I'm just telling you, Reformation Day is a big deal in the Wilson household. So you do that.
Y'all re-nail the 95 Thesis to the front door.
I dress up like Martin Luther. It's great.
It's not a stretch, right?
Nope. You do with that whatever you need to do with it. Hey, I love Halloween because in my mind it's like the holiday kickoff. A lot of Christians get weird about even celebrating Halloween.
For sure. I think all holidays, if we're not careful, people can I would say get pretty self-righteous about their own dogmatic view of stuff. When we were in seminary, there were people who criticized everybody who had a Christmas tree up. And there's a lot of, some people say, it's, pagan holiday, the tree's this stands for this. For me, it's just cute decorations on a tree. So,
I feel pretty good about my Christmas tree, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, so anyway, there's always people who want to go crazy extremes on stuff.
So on social media, maybe our algorithms are a little bit different. This year, Halloween has been like a hot topic of discussion because an unnamed, I won't blast him on our podcast, came out and was like, I don't think Christians should celebrate Halloween. And I'm always just kind of like, I think people should just chill out a little bit. If you're not worshiping Satan on Halloween, I don't think there's anything wrong with your daughter dressing up like a princess to go get some candy.
And I don't even know, maybe it's a semantics thing and people would say, dancing around terms. I don't think I celebrate Halloween.
Yeah, that's true.
That's pretty dumb. Yeah. It's a day where we do stuff with candy and dress up and stuff. It's not really celebrating anything or anybody. It's just having fun. Some people have a hard time having fun.
That's true. I don't have a hard time.
So generally speaking,
I'm a fun person.
Understandable if somebody's a fuddy-duddy.
Our sound guy just a second ago said that celebrating Halloween doesn't make you any less of a Christian than celebrating Christmas does, or something like that.
Something to that effect. That is much better when he said it.
Yeah, maybe he should overlay his audio into it.
I think Jonathan said if something to the effect of, if Christmas can, if celebrating Christmas can make you a Christian, then celebrating Halloween can send you to hell.
That's good.
That's good.
We're gonna sit Jonathan down at the table with us next time. Get him a mic.
It's good stuff.
Hey, so got big plans for Halloween. I know I do. I know it's gonna be a good time. But obviously, the most important part about Halloween is
candy. Yeah. And family.
Oh,
kids.
Yeah, for sure. Kids is what I meant to say. The most important part of Halloween is definitely kids.
I mean, there's like a parent tax.
Yeah. For sure.
I totally believe in that.
Yeah, and my kids have soft teeth, so they can't even eat all their candy, so I eat most of the candy.
For sure. I mean, and I find their hiding place, and it's all good.
All right, so if we're thinking Halloween candy, let's give the listeners a little sneak preview into the psyche of Dallas and Wayne. If I had to tell you your top 3 Halloween candies, all right, the top 3 things you're going for on Halloween night.
Yeah.
From you, I kind of like it. Number 3, number 2, I really like it. Number 1, this is the best Halloween candy though.
Yeah. So 2 major categories of candy I like: gummy and a particular kind of chocolate and caramel combination.
Okay.
So like anything turtle oriented, that's amazing.
Not a big turtle guy.
Oh, I'm like massive, big time.
So all right, let's do it this way.
But gummy, you like, I'm talking like, I do like Starburst, but stuff like Sour Patch Kids, Skittles, all that stuff.
You're a Sour Patch Kid.
I am. I can do it.
Number 3, I'll tell you, number 3 for me would definitely be Nerds.
Okay.
So not.
I like the Nerd Clusters because
they're gummy.
They're gummy.
All right. So number 3 for you.
Nerd Clusters.
Nerd Clusters. All right. So Nerd Clusters. Number 2.
What's yours?
Man, this is really hard, but I think I'm gonna go. This is a curveball. I'm gonna go peanut butter Snickers. So not regular Snickers, but peanut butter Snickers.
That's gross, man.
Bro, they're so good.
Wow.
They're so much better than regular Snickers.
I'm gonna say Mambas.
I don't even know what a Mamba is.
It's nice. It's gummy. It's a higher class form of now and later.
Well, that's definitely why I don't know what it is. I don't eat high class candy. I just eat the poor people candy.
I made that up. It's really not higher class. It's just I like it.
All right, number 1.
Yeah.
What's your number 1?
I'll go with turtle since I mentioned that.
What is there a brand name turtle though?
No, you don't know what a turtle is. It's got it's
peanuts and caramel and chocolate.
Yeah,
right?
Sometimes cashews, little almonds.
Yeah,
but caramel
so
holds it all
basically
together.
A Snicker.
No, man.
That's exactly what you're describing right now as a Snicker.
A Snicker's okay, but it's peanuts.
So I'm actually kind of offended that that's your number 1 because
it's not a Halloween candy though, because that would melt. Yeah. So I really don't. Amy and I buy we want to be the known as in our neighborhood the massive candy.
You
bar.
buy full candy bars?
We buy full candy
that's
bars.
How you know you're.
They're king size, bro. We're king size candy bar house.
Yeah,
it's the only house in the neighborhood.
That's why I come to your house.
Now, if anybody in the neighborhood sees this, they probably going to do it to outshine us. But we the kids walk up, they're like, king size. It's like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, so you're that person.
Yeah.
I'm a little offended that you went with something like that for number 1 though, because everybody knows, and I think I'm gonna have wide listener support on this. Everybody knows
candy corn.
No, that's no.
Okay, sorry, that's Halloween candy.
That's okay. I'm not a candy corn hater. I like candy corn.
You know what? Little pro tip: get a jar of regular peanuts and candy corn.
There you go.
Eat them together. It will blow your mind. I'm just telling you, it's something scientific experiment. Try it.
I'll try it. But everybody knows the number 1 candy you're going for on Halloween night is Reese Cups.
That's not true.
Bro, minis, pumpkins, it doesn't matter. Give me the peanut butter and chocolate. And here's the actual.
Amy likes that.
Here's the actual pro tip. Take them home, put them in the freezer, freeze them, and then eat them. They're great. So that's where.
So what I think we've learned from this is I will give you all of the peanut butter and chocolate stuff out of my kids. You give me all the gummies.
And the other thing we learned is you really like Snickers. You're just too high class to admit it.
No, Snickers are not.
That's
the same
a turtle,
thing
bro.
As
It's a turtle.
Man. No, we'll do a poll later.
Okay, yeah, let us know in the comments. Is a Snicker a turtle? Because the answer is yes. If you had to dress up, have you ever dressed up with your kids?
Oh man, yeah. At some point, Amy and I definitely dressed up, but I can't remember what we were.
We've never
been years ago.
We've never dressed up, and the reason why I've never dressed up in a costume is because I'm a grown man.
You know who dresses up every year?
Who?
Corey Watson.
Yeah, but that's on Corey. I pick on him every year.
And he goes all out.
Last year he was Prince Charming.
It's a little crazy.
Yeah. So Corey, if you're listening, stop. No, I'm just kidding, man. It's really sweet. But if you had to be one. If you had to dress up as like your favorite character, Wayne was doing it, who would you be?
Mr. T.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Really odd choice there, bro. Hey, I don't.
I really don't know. I was just making that up.
I'd be Batman.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm Batman, but nobody's ever seen me and Batman in the same room at the same time.
Yeah, so, that's true.
There you go.
Man, I've never thought of that.
Bruce Wayne may be my name. Anyway. All right, man. I'm ready for Halloween. I hope people have a good time.
Yeah.
As we get closer to Thanksgiving and Christmas, we'll find out what your favorite Thanksgiving foods are, favorite Christmas traditions, all that. I love this time of year. I get really depressed after December 25th, though, because, maybe January 1st. After January 1st, it feels like it's just cold and there are no holidays coming and you got to go back to work. It's just.
But I mean, you got the national championship.
That's true, but we usually don't play in it because we lose to Alabama.
This year, the men's conference. A lot of things to look forward to.
January 31st, Carolina Men's Conference.
It's gonna be great.
Put it on your calendar. All right, so hey, we had some big announcements this past week. For anybody who was not at First Baptist Simpsonville Upstate Church or any of our campuses, this past week we announced that for the first time ever, at least in decades, well, even since we've had teaching pastors the way we do now, we are actually sending out one of our teaching pastors as a church planter. And we announced Sunday that church planter was going to be Will Bray, your son. And he's going to Phoenix, Arizona. And so just a little preview, next time we will actually have Will on the podcast to share a little bit about a
lot of the details.
Yeah, a lot of even how he came to the decision, God's call. I'm excited for people to hear about that. But I thought it would be good just give people a little bit of an update about, how you. I know our church members are asking how are you and Amy doing? Share about how you're excited. Share about maybe how this changes the vision of what we're doing or how it expands it a little bit. Talk to the people about some of those things.
For us personally, Amy and I have known now for 8 weeks or so. So we had some time. I mean, the good thing is we were able to kind of process it. And obviously Campbell Jane is the biggest factor in the whole thing for me and Amy. She's our first grandbaby. So Campbell, 4 months old, and so that was, you talk about the big curveball. That was a big thing just to process. But from a spiritual perspective, we've never been anything but excited and happy. There definitely is a part of me personally too, just knowing having my son work with me in ministry. Obviously, is like the joy of my life. I think a lot of that though, I have as much joy, just a different kind of joy, seeing him go. So it's all that's a blessing, and it just means my wife is going to be a frequent flyer to Phoenix.
Y'all are about to get so many frequent flyer miles.
So
is Amy gonna be in first class every time?
No.
Oh dang.
No, sir.
Bro, if she gets the frequent flyer miles, they might bump her up, upgrade. She might make you sit in business class.
She might do first class when she builds up the miles, right? But so from an organization, it's a completely different thing. So I've been processing it 2 different paths.
So as a dad,
and
then as a pastor,
really, really challenging because Will was, been a pretty key player. Especially, I mean, he's been on the team for I don't know, 8-9 years at some capacity. Students, and then campus pastor, teaching pastor, leadership development. He kind of constructed and formed our pastoral pathways. That is all these young guys who are coming in. So, him being sent out, we're having to make some adjustments to fill those voids and those spots. But it doesn't change the vision at all. But it does expand it in some way because now we really do feel like up to this point, we're still obviously a church for the upstate church, doing everything we can to connect people in the upstate with Jesus to change their world. But we also know that when we have an encounter with God, it changes everything. And so this mission naturally, Acts 1:8, starts in Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and extends to the ends of the earth. So the natural next step for where we are, I mean, literally, running 5,000 on Sunday morning, about to plan our 10th location. Without question, in the next year or 2, that'll expand to more. There are, always things that God's stirring up about possibilities. So all that to say, that's not stopping. We're not slowing down on anything we've ever done, but God is clearly sending us into a new chapter to where we're adding to our current mission, and we're sending across state lines, across the country, 2,000 miles away, and we are planting a church in Phoenix. And I think this is important too. I know most of the people probably watch this or listen to this may already know this, but talk to them about your distinction between what a campus is and what a church is. Because I said, it's the first time we planted a church, and I'm sure some people are saying, wait a minute, you guys plant churches all the time.
I had to clarify that on Sunday morning.
Explain that.
And I had to clarify it just because I'm so used to saying campus that I think when I said it from the stage, I was like, we're going to plant a campus. I had to back up when we're actually not planting a campus.
Right.
So a campus is a part of the same church. It is I think the way we like to communicate the talk on campuses is that a campus is just a different geographical gathering. It's a different service but it's a part of the same church. So we've always been one. This is not anything that's a campus is not a church planting strategy. We're replicating who Upstate Church is in different spots in the Upstate.
Transplanting
campuses. And so what we're about to do with Will is different in the sense that geography is a greater limitation than planting a campus will allow.
Yes.
We can't replicate exactly who we are at Upstate Church in Phoenix because, number one, the culture is somewhat different in the Southwest.
Yes.
And so what has worked so great here may need some tweaks there. And also, just geographically, we're too far separate to still be one entity.
Mm.
So Will is actually planting an independent church that will be partnered with First Baptist Simpsonville Upstate Church. So it's a difference in who he is.
Again, terms are always so confusing. Just to make sure people aren't confused, not an independent Baptist church. It will be a Southern Baptist church, but an autonomous, independent
church.
polity.
Yeah, it will be separate from Upstate Church in
Right.
in existence, but we will partner together.
And any pastors who are listening, I mean, Will and I have met with 3 pastors so far, all of whom have definitely indicated they're interested in being partners.
Right.
2 of them are praying about being partner sending churches.
That's right.
Where they would actually be, it could be that our 3 churches are co-senders of Will.
Big deal.
Massive.
Yeah.
So be praying about that. We have a list of about 70 pastors we're going to sit down with and hoping they'll get on board.
Yeah, and Will be on here in a couple weeks to share a little bit more. I'm excited. I think the one thing I don't want to skip over that you said is that this is a result of Will having an encounter with God. So
yes,
you've known for about 8 weeks. I think I've known for about 7, right? And then just through that process, though, I think the reason that's really important for people to understand is about 12 weeks ago, maybe 15 weeks ago, is when Will and a few other people, including myself, including you, some people on the leadership team, really started dreaming a dream for our new initiative, which was our Encounter Initiative. And so Will, behind the scenes, is praying about how we as a church can encounter God. And Lord, we just want to encounter you. And as a product of that, Will personally encounters God and has to go. So I think I just want people to see, like, this isn't lip service.
No.
We're talking about encountering God. Like, we're serious about that.
When you choose, you lose. And you lose something. And him choosing this is definitely a result of encountering God, because I would say from a secular, if you were looking at it from just purely physical, secular, flesh, worldly matters, he's losing everything he's got in order to gain what God's going to do that he hadn't yet done.
That God promises
That's a big deal.
Will be better.
So I'm so proud of him.
Yeah.
And I'd say, too, the significance, you mentioned this early, but to your point, too, it's significant to say in 10 years, we've never had a teaching pastor leave or be sent.
That's right.
So this is the first time. It won't be the last time, but it's the first time that we've ever had one of our teaching pastors. We have 13. And in 10 years, of course, that started out with 3.
Right.
And so anyway, it's pretty cool. Very significant moment.
Yeah, I know people have questions about that, and so I just wanted to give you the opportunity to speak into it. After we got done with the announcement Sunday, I say after, it was all a part of the service. Then we preached on the Great Commission. And without question, I think it's safe to say we are a Great Commission church.
Sure.
I was thinking about this Sunday after we got done preaching. I think maybe I've preached the Great Commission more than any other passage in the past 8 years. And the reason being is because, number one, you need constant reminders. But number two, as Upstate Church, is First Baptist Simpsonville, the Great Commission is central to our identity. It's Jesus' last words, right? Which last words are meant to be lasting words. He says, go and make disciples of all nations. And he says, baptize and teach them. And in that is the entire Christian mission, right? It's who we are. It's what we're supposed to be doing. And that's been central to our identity as a church.
Yes.
That we are a Great Commission church, that we love and we're going to disciple who's here, but we're not going to be so content with who's here that we forget what God's called us to out there. And so that's been a central part of who we've been. And I thought, man, with all this going on, it would be a good opportunity to remind people. There are a lot of people listening to this podcast. Most people who are listening to this podcast who are not going to Phoenix, Arizona.
Sure.
Maybe some of them are going to go with Will and Mike.
Right.
But most of the people who are listening to this podcast are people who are just everyday people who are trying to follow Jesus in the life that they have, trying to live for God on mission in the life they have. So I thought it would be good, let's put Will and this big exciting thing on one side. And then let's talk to the other members of our church who are saying, okay, I know that I can honor God by planting a church and moving to Phoenix, Arizona. How can I honor God in the life I'm called to right now?
Sure.
So I want to give people some handlebars to discuss through that. And I'll just kind of frame the conversation in a few ways. Number one, uh, what we want people to understand is that the Great Commission is not participation optional,
Mm-hmm.
right? That this is
Mm-hmm.
for everybody. So, will you just kind of talk for just a second? Why is the tendency so often to see like what Will's doing, moving, doing something great? Why is the tendency to say, well, that's great, he's doing that, or that's great, my preacher's doing the Great Commission.
Right.
I don't necessarily have to do that. Why is
Yeah.
that such a tempting mindset?
Because we'd rather not be responsible to do the same thing.
Right.
So I think anytime, I mean, the fact of the matter is we're all satisfied with glamorizing and glorifying missional people as being exceptional and extraordinary and us being normal. We
Right.
we want to redefine normal.
Right.
And then this is a pet peeve of mine in another conversation. Normative churches. We'll have a whole episode about this one day. But I hate the word normative when we're talking about small churches because I think when you use words like that, it really is misleading. A normal disciple is a missional disciple. That's the way it should be. I'm not
1000%.
saying
It's
that's
supposed to
accurate.
be. That's
Yes.
just that's what the Bible prescribes.
So the whole thing is whatever is normal or normative does not mean it's the goal.
Right.
That, in fact, is the opposite of
Right.
true. So the normal Christian's not willing to plant. The normal Christian is not willing to be on mission. The normal Christian is not only not willing to go across the country, they're not willing to cross the street
That's
to
right.
tell somebody about Jesus.
That's good.
That is normal, but that's disobedient.
Yeah.
So
Not biblical.
it's not biblical. It's a disobedient, rebellious believer, which is the vast majority in America.
Right.
And that's hard, but true. And so I think my little quote Sunday, one of the things I focused on was that true discipleship, true disciple making, true missional thinking, it's not radical. It's just rare. People just don't do it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's probably the biggest thing. It's a result of sin. Anytime we miss the mark, anytime we aim at the target and miss, what we try to do is we say, hey, this is normal. I'm okay.
That's right.
But let's go. So in a result, we look at it like we're really bragging on somebody like a Will who's doing something exceptional in our minds. But we should all be that obedient.
That's right.
And it doesn't mean we're all going there. And I know we'll get into this, but it may mean just literally doing the simple things. For example, maybe we're not going to move our family across the country, but we could serve in the nursery.
That's
or
right.
teach a kids class or be a part of outreach
And
ministry.
that's not less important in the kingdom of God.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
We're all missionaries.
That's right.
That's what, I think missions is not geographical. We have made it geographical. We have said Jerusalem's on a mission. We send people to Judea, Samaria, the ends of the earth for missions, but we just do ministry here.
Right.
But see, the ministry in the local church is missions
It's
too.
all a part
There's
of
no
the mission of God.
separation. Bible doesn't do it anyway.
I use this as an example Sunday, and it's just how my mind works. But I was coming back from a trip last week, and I was on an airplane and watched Mission Impossible. You remember Mission Impossible?
I saw it in the theater, man. The last one.
Oh man, yeah,
Saw it in the theater.
But it got
the most amazing thing is a 60-something-year-old dude can literally hold onto a plane like that.
Tom Cruise is an animal.
He is a Scientologist and a little bit crazy, but
I think that's why he's so crazy. I mean, he's dude's crazy. Yeah,
he is amazing.
But
anyway,
you know those Mission Impossible movies, they all start the same way. That he gets a video, he puts it in, and it says, "Your mission, should you choose to accept it."
That's right.
And I do think there's a mindset that's seeped into us where that's the Great Commission. It's not, hey, every person go and do the mission. It's okay, Jesus slides a mission across the table. And what Jesus is really looking for is like some really special people like Tom Cruise to say yes to it.
That's the way we look at it in it.
And I think what we've got to get into the mindset of is that every single person is, Charles Spurgeon said it this way, they're either a missionary or an imposter.
Yeah. And the key goes back to his first statement. His first words there is like, all authority has been given to me.
Bro, it's good.
I don't have a vote.
That's right. He's in charge.
So there really is no option to choose or not choose it.
Mm-hmm.
Authority's been given to him. Go.
That's right.
He didn't say, if you want to.
That's right. And so I think what we need to help people out, Will's going to Phoenix.
Right.
What is the average person that's going to listen to this podcast? And by the way, I'm using average not in like a slang way. Just like a person who's going to wake up and go to work tomorrow. Me and you.
I love Jesus, but I don't know how to show him and live
That's
for
right.
him.
So
what
is the person who wants to live with Jesus, living a normal life, loving their family, going to work, going to church on Sundays? How can they live out the Great Commission? I think there are two avenues. I want to give us some space to discuss.
Do it.
Two places where every Christian is called to live as a missionary at. Two spaces, two spheres, two walks of life that every Christian's called to be a missionary at. And if you start with these two places, I think that this will help you be a faithful missional Christian to Jesus. All right,
Mm.
and we'll go in order. First one is the family. I think it's most important, most foundational, and
Mm-hmm.
the second one is your work life. So if a Christian is faithful and lives for Jesus and wants to be missional in their family and their work life, they will be every bit as missional as Will is going to Phoenix.
Sure.
So let's talk about this for just a few seconds. Let's talk about the family first. Number one, I think it's important that people know the family is the most foundational place that we're given to live out the mission of God. The family is, and maybe you can enlighten us on this in just a second. The family is before the church.
Yeah. Genesis 1 and 2.
Yeah, the family is before the state, right? The
Mm-hmm.
family is before all those things, and so this is the foundational place where we live out the Christian walk. Um, and I think it's interesting. You actually just gave a talk at Southeastern Evangelical.
No, Southern Evangelical Seminary.
Okay, Southern Evangelical Seminary. You're a big shot. You give talks at
Oh
seminaries.
yeah,
Yeah,
so such a big shot.
yeah. So, but you just gave a talk at a seminary about the state of the family, and I think what we're actually seeing is that God intends the family to be an avenue for mission, but one of Satan's biggest playgrounds right now, one of Satan's biggest attacks is on the family.
Mm.
So why don't you help us understand, like, culturally, what's going on with the family, and then from a Christian perspective, how can we live missionally in the family?
Yeah, and because I mean, if there's anything our teaching pastors, obviously we never talk about names or anything like that, but we share with each other constantly about how many couples are having a hard time.
Yes.
And even in a church that's thriving, loving Jesus, I don't know, but I'm serious. I've served a lot of churches. I was in 14 churches when I lived with my daddy as he pastored. I've been in a lot of churches in my life. I've never been a part of a church that was more on mission.
Right.
But even in a church as alive and thriving as ours, families are under attack, man.
Constantly.
Yeah, so that's not like a new thing. But I would say they've been under attack for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not even a new tactic of the enemy. I think the culture lately, in the last half of my life so far, has really begun to appear to attack the family. And I say it that way because I don't know that it's as much a real attack as much as I talked to you earlier about Genesis 4 and this the whole first time the word sin is mentioned in the Bible, and sin is crouching at the
Right.
door, and even that concept of that was right before Cain
Killed
murdered
Abel. Yeah.
Abel. And the whole idea there is not that sin is crouching like it's going to attack as much as it's outside the door. And
Don't let it in.
a lot of the things I read was, don't let it in. The church has let it in.
Right.
So is the culture, is the enemy, is Satan attacking the family? Yes. But it's because we have failed.
We haven't kept him out.
Totally let our guard down. We've done the opposite of obey. We've become less intent.
When you say that, like, what are the ways that we've let our families be vulnerable in that way?
Well, I think we have two extremes. So I feel like, and maybe I'm even an example of both extremes sometimes. Finding the balance, or that's probably a hard word to use because it's so easy to take the wrong way, but finding the balance of these two things is very difficult, the tension in between. But like one thing is be a culture warrior and protest everything.
Right.
And that's where I had been, certainly.
Right.
Much more of a culture, not angry, but I was probably close,
Right.
very apologetics driven.
Right.
And then probably when I came here 10 years ago, God really shifted me toward the balance of grace and truth and trying to emphasize that. I think we're at a point now, and that's really why the initiation of this podcast
Right.
and the whole cultural engagement that you're leading, our area of ministry, all that's because we really just recognize the need to really engage the culture hasn't changed. We
That's
do
right.
need to engage the culture. We just don't need to fight
Yeah.
against the culture. Here's what I think. We need to fight for the culture. We're not fighting against the world. We're fighting for the
world.
salvation of the
That's right.
souls of every man, woman, boy,
That's
and girl.
good.
There's a big difference. I mean, so we're not militant.
Right.
We're rescuing.
Yeah.
When you're trying to save somebody's life when they're drowning, they can pull you under.
Right. And you talk about, like, the family being particularly vulnerable, and you talk even our church. This is anecdotal. I don't have any statistics to go with this. Maybe you have some statistics on the state of the family from your talk, but the vast majority of my pastoral ministry that is not preaching. So I do a lot of things. I do logistical stuff, blah blah blah, but the vast majority of, like, pastoral things that I do that's not preaching is counseling for couples.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I read this year that 10,000 family. This is just in South Carolina. 10,000 marriages in South Carolina would end in divorce
Man.
this year in South Carolina.
Wow.
That's kind of nuts, right?
Unbelievable.
So, how are there any ways that you see the family particularly vulnerable right now from your talk that you did?
Well, not necessarily from the talk. As far as vulnerabilities, there's a lot of outcomes I think that are clear. But I feel like this is not popular in our culture
Okay.
for sure. But I think the responsibility of the man to be the man
Right.
and actually to lead the family spiritually
Yeah.
is major. That's always been true. I mean, I've heard that all my life, and it's still true today. And God has created roles in the family, and I think most of the men in our country and culture have bought into. Look, our culture again. It goes back to the culture is definitely they're lost.
Right.
So they're not going to make decisions based on a design or a plan God has.
Right.
And so when God's plan that we're following meets basically this cultural construct of things that is outside of Scripture's mandate, what's happened is the church has given into the cultural
Right.
construct. And so men don't do what they're supposed to do, or we're not leading
Yeah.
spiritually the way they should. That's probably the most important thing. And I think the most vulnerable point
Yeah.
that I see. Do you agree with
Yeah,
that?
I 100. I think that's great. And the vulnerabilities is what you said is leading to the outcomes.
Yes.
I think as the outcome of 10,000 marriages falling
Mhm.
apart,
Mhm.
nuclear families, right?
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. Let me see if I can find that statistic because it was bananas, man. Here it is. 18% of households in America are made up of nuclear families in 2025.
So
18%.
that's 1 in 5 households.
Yeah,
Basically, a little less than 1 in 5,
right.
but look, 1 in 5 households have a mom and a dad
And kids.
and kids.
Yes.
Some of
Only
that is not a moral reflection. Some people are
correct.
widows or
Yes.
are single, not married yet.
Put in perspective, that was 40% in 1970. So it's down by half,
Right.
more than half,
In 40 years.
40 years.
Yeah,
It's
more
a
than
massive decline in the nuclear family. And that's not, we could even say the biblical family
yeah.
because that is the biblical model
The
for family.
reason that's a travesty, and I'm playing on some other theologians here, cultural, and this is not original with me, but the reason that's a travesty is that from a Christian perspective, the mission the mission that doesn't go forward at home doesn't go forward anywhere, right?
Right.
And so if we have a breakdown in the nuclear family, that means that the design of God's not happening in the family.
Mm.
And if the design of God's not happening in the family, then it's definitely not happening. It's not being pushed forward outside the family, right?
Yeah.
But you said that you thought the particular vulnerability was men, and I would 1,000% agree with that. I spent a lot of time trying to disciple men, love them, and help them
Mhm,
lead their
mhm.
families. And I'll say, men, if you're watching this, welcome to a high and holy calling that is super hard. Leading your family is not
Sure.
easy, but it is your calling. So if somebody came to you, they said, Pastor Wayne, I heard your podcast. I heard that you think the greatest vulnerability is that men need to step into these spaces and be men.
Mm.
What it- what would be step one of somebody stepping into that space to lead their family?
Yeah, you first and foremost, improve your relationship with God
Yeah,
because you can't lead your family spiritually if you're a weak spiritual man,
right.
if you're an immature believer.
That's right.
So, I mean, that is number 1,
Right.
first, I mean, foremost, and then treasure your wife, you know?
Yeah.
It's not a dictatorial right that God has given to me
Right.
to be the head of my home. It is an overwhelming responsibility
That's right.
that and an honor that I have the opportunity to be the husband of Amy and the father of 5
Yeah.
arrows in my quiver, man.
That's good. And you say treasure. That's such a good word because Ephesians 5 never says lead.
Mm-mm.
You know what it says? It says love, right?
Mm,
That's a big that I think the
mm.
probably, and if Jenna's listening to this, she can determine whether I'm doing a good job or not. I think probably the biggest shift I had in understanding how to lead my home at a certain point. And dude, you're such a good model of this. Honestly, you've always been such a like great example on how to love and lead. But the biggest shift I had was going from thinking that I was supposed to walk in and lead
Mm.
Where what Ephesians 5 tells me is that I'm supposed to walk in love, and that's how I lead, right? And
Mm.
that if I don't love them, right, and if I don't love them as Christ loved us, how did Christ love us? In the good and the bad, right? He
Mm.
didn't love us just because we were awesome. He loved us. He loved us because he loved us, right?
Right.
And so if I don't love in on the good days and on the hard days, then I'm not leading.
Yeah.
I had a picture in my Bible at one point as a reminder, but I just wrote on the back of it like cherish. So it's a picture of me and Jenna. I just wrote on cherish because
That's good.
that's what the call is,
Yeah.
right?
I would say if you love your wife, tell her a lot.
Over and over and over again.
Show her
Yeah.
more.
Ooh, you dropping
Boom.
the heat. Okay.
But that's true because
Yeah.
you can say a bunch of junk, man, that you don't really show.
Yeah.
So a lot of men say, I love you. You look beautiful. Words of
That's
affirmation.
right.
And then they don't lead out of a place where God's called them. They don't
Yeah.
have
That's
humility.
good.
So anyway,
Yeah.
I think show her. That's a key. And I was just thinking about this. Part of that talk talked about just really the fact that God is three things in relationship to family.
Okay.
He's the director, designer, and the designator
Okay.
of family, the family unit, if you
Right.
will, the
So the
biblical
director.
family. So he's the one who actually directs the family.
Okay.
So part of the responsibility of leading the family is to let him lead us.
To figure out what God wants the family
You're
to do.
a terrible leader if you're not letting God lead you.
That's good.
So, but then he's also the designer. He's the one who actually said there should be one man, one woman. Let me just go ahead and say it: one biological man, one biological woman from birth,
Welcome to 2025.
who are married and who have children.
Right.
Now, if that's not physically possible, that's God's
Yeah.
the one who made that a reality. So
I think that's a great point to like zone in on for just a second.
Mhm.
I think this has come in generational ways, but we're at a crisis point
big
in
time.
2025. When you say God's the designer, it is one man, one woman that if physically able should result in multiple children.
Yes.
Right. That's the way that should work, right?
And it really shouldn't based on this is going to be sound really unfair. It shouldn't be based on what we want.
Yes, I do. That's what I was just about to say. I think we've kind of approached this epoch in more modern society.
My American dream.
Right.
Yeah.
That, it's about, well, kids don't really fit. I got to have this on the list first, and I got to have this career, and I got to have this amount of money in the bank. And really, demographically, what we're seeing is that people are waiting later and later to have children.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the infertility crisis is
Yeah.
based on that people have waited too late.
Yeah.
Not everyone. I mean,
grandparents may be, or parents may be really upset when I'm saying this to their young couples that just got married, but I'm very convictional about it.
That's right.
I think if you're married and you're waiting to be able to afford children,
you will never afford them.
You will have one,
Yeah,
or two, maybe.
You will have children and die
The
poor.
fact of the matter is, we could never afford to have a child when we had the child we had. I mean, never.
I'll add to
we're
the
broke.
level of offense. I think that was offensive and true. I also think we should add to it. Like, I want to tell young people all the time, get married.
Get married early and have kids.
Go ahead, get married, have children.
Yes.
I think,
it's crazy. It's rare that a 25 or 26-year-old's having babies.
It's crazy that it's rare that a 25, 26-year-old's getting married.
Getting
That's
married.
Young.
It's really, it is part of a cultural crisis that has physical implications, but I do believe it's spiritually problematic for sure.
Yeah. I think we've kind of leaned into this idea of self-sufficiency.
Mm-hmm.
So to be self-sufficient means that you don't need God. And if you're going to ensure that you're going to live a life where you're self-sufficient, you would never say that out loud. But what it means is you need to have a good job and things in a row before you get married and have children. And I just want to say, like, I'll say this and make sure everybody understands it, and I know you would agree. I got married at 19 years old, and it was the best decision I ever made.
100%.
I wish everyone would take it seriously, get married, taking it seriously at a young age, and lean into what God's designed for it. And I think that's the way the mission goes forward.
And it wasn't easy.
No, I mean, Jenna had to finish raising me. I mean, but I think the thing I do tell people about that, I'm half joking. No, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy because I was an even bigger idiot at 19 than I am at 31. Right? There were so many things I was still learning. But when you get married young, what you're doing is you're committing to figure out life together.
Yeah.
And that matters.
We literally got married. We found on our 1-year anniversary we were expecting Will.
Okay.
I mean, 1-year anniversary. We had the pregnancy test. I remember where we were. We were celebrating our 1-year anniversary at the place that we went to on our honeymoon. It was really cool. And so we discovered that. We were super excited, had Will, and at 3 months old, uprooted our life and moved to New Orleans unemployed.
Right.
So we moved to go to seminary, no job,
Didn't have a certain amount of money in the bank.
no friend, no savings account. I don't know why they rented us an apartment because we didn't even have a down payment. And we didn't have any. All that to say, God worked all that stuff out, and I look back on those days, and it just sometimes it breaks my heart when I talk to younger people who
They're
are like
missing it.
so dis they're so debilitated
Mhm.
because they feel like they can't do what God's calling them to do because they don't have the
Yeah.
resources. Just start walking, man.
Let's
God will
make a
figure it out.
let's make a connection between what we're talking
Yeah.
about. So just start walking. God will figure it out. Walk in God's design. How does that end up in the mission going forward?
Yeah, so he's the director. I didn't even get to the third. He's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
director, he's the designer, and he's the designator. So I think that's even important when it comes to children because it's not the village that raises your child.
Okay.
So it's not. It's real popular things in African
Takes a
proverb.
village, yeah.
Hillary Clinton made it popular. You know, wrote the book on "It Takes a Village." It doesn't take a village. It takes parents.
That's right.
And I understand teachers. Amy's a teacher. Influencers, pastors. We all are contributing to the development of our kids and all. But what your kid needs is you.
Right.
They
And you telling them exactly
step
what to
up.
believe, right? Yeah.
Step up. Be the daddy. Be the mama. God's called you to be. That's what your kid needs. So I think that's God's in charge of all that. What was your question?
So the question is, and you're really answering it, even as in the third point.
Okay.
But how does walking in God's design, allowing Him to be the director, the designer, the designator, how does that result in the mission going forward?
Well, I think it's almost like those are almost like steps toward the fulfillment. The reason we never reach the end of the runway is because we never start down it.
Yeah.
Because I do think family is, and some people might well say that's so separated from Great Commission, but the family is foundational. The family is like it literally is the cement blocks of your house,
That's right.
even your Great Commission house.
Right.
It's the structure through which God ordained all of society.
Right.
And so the breakdown of the family has really contributed to the breakdown of society, the breakdown of really the church in America,
Yeah.
the breakdown of the Great Commission, all of those
The
things.
mission can't go forward on firm foundation where they're not strong families.
Yeah, because if we were raising up our kids to be
Right.
disciples,
The mission would be going
we
forward.
wouldn't have a mission problem.
So
Churches wouldn't be dying.
Yeah, Carl Henry actually said that best, and I think this is a good way I connected. This was informative for me as I understood how the family functions in the mission. He said that parents should be aiming not to produce just good citizens, which we should. We all, but Christian parents should explicitly be trying to produce Christian children.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So that we are fulfilling the Great Commission at home. We're making Christians at home. But he said this, and I thought was so good, that a child lost today is a family tomorrow and a generation next week, right? Like
That's good.
So, like I think the thing that I would have if we're making connections for people about why family is so important and why family is important for the Great Commission, I think what people need to be willing to put together is that you can't take the Great Commission anywhere if you're not taking it to home first.
Yeah.
Like, and if the light that shines the brightest the light that shines the furthest does what?
Shines the brightest at home.
Shines the brightest
That's
at home.
it.
Right?
That's good
I
stuff.
think Wayne Bray said that.
No, I got it from CT Stud.
Okay.
CT Stud and others.
Yeah, but I do think that's the starting place. I don't want people looking outside of their home before they look inside it.
And I don't want. I know we may be close on time, but let me just bring this up. And
We got a few minutes.
You give your opinion on it. So, like back when I was in seminary, my doctorate work, family integrated ministry was big.
Yeah.
And a guy who died recently,
Vadi
Bacham, was big advocate. Big advocate for family integrated ministries. And so I do think when you talk about family, the mission, the church, there's a lot of opinions even within that truth.
True.
So we're obviously we have programs. We have children's ministry, student ministry, and I would say if your church has those, then this is a good indicator. It's what came in my mind. If you have less than 10% of your regular Sunday morning attendance in children's ministry, if you have less than 10% of your regular Sunday morning attendance in your student ministry, so either both kids and students, then you're probably already at the point of needing to worry about a crisis coming.
That's right.
So should be if there are no kids and no students in your church,
where are the people?
You need to be calling somebody for help.
That's good.
You don't need to wait until your bank account's empty and you got 10 people left.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're in 300.
Yeah.
If they're all senior adults, you're in crisis mode.
Yeah, and if there's
that's a big deal.
If there's any church that's watching this and they find themselves in that situation, email us. We'd love to.
We want to help.
We'd love to help.
Because that is, I mean, what I want to do is prevent the crisis.
Mm-hmm.
But if what happens is people say, well, we're fine, we got money in the bank, whatever. Well, 10 years from now, you'll be closing the doors. Right. So that's a big deal. But coming back to family integrated ministry, where's the line? I think it'd be good for you to kind of speak. Where's the line on, we don't sit in a living room format and worship together with our kids, and we don't dismiss the kids after this music and have a 10-minute.
Right.
We actually do have completely separate ministries. Where's the parent's role of discipleship if the church is doing all these programs?
Right. That's a great question. So number one, let me say, it does not take a village to raise Christian children. It does take a church and being involved in church to raise Christian children. I think people who think, well, I can raise little Christians and we don't ever have to go to church. Listen, if you think that way and you're listening to this podcast, with all the love in my heart, if you do not make it a priority to teach your children that church is important, you are not making the priority to teach them that Jesus is important. They will walk away from the faith.
Yeah, I'd say you're failing as a parent.
So it does take a church.
So should a parent require their kid to come to church?
I'll say this.
I love that question.
Listen, I'll say this, and I don't want to be extra biblical or legalistic, but I can promise you this: I cannot control what my children do. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're not going down that path.
See, I want to disagree with that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I cannot control who my child ends up becoming.
That is absolutely true.
But while they are at my house,
right,
they will be at church on Sunday morning.
That's the way I've always looked at it.
If Danny Wilson and Annie Jet Wilson are under my roof and I'm paying for their food or I'm paying for their rent or whatever, they'll go to church.
Yeah, that definitely is my conviction. And it has always concerned me when some parents don't have that conviction, because I feel like your kids will become what you let them become. When they're kids, their brain doesn't even have full cognitive
development. Until they're 25, bro.
So
boys' brains are not formed until they're 25.
Why would we let them decide? And this is why it's so bananas. Sorry to get off on this, but why we let children under 10 make decisions of gender?
We are on one today right now.
Anyway, go ahead. Let's move on.
I love
family in the church.
So number one, bring them to church.
Yeah,
that matters. You're right. I think that's a great question you asked. Bring them to church. I'm so thankful for a church that teaches my children well about Jesus.
Man,
I think
my kids love the Lord.
Oh my gosh, it provides me such an opportunity to do what God's called me to do, which is to bring them up in the ways of the Lord without extra work.
Yeah.
If I just bring them to church and ask them what they learned, now I'm in spaces where God's called me to form. I think the only other thing I would add to that, and listen, I'm not by any means making this a requirement on parents to be good Christians, but I think we've made it a little too hard. We've overcomplicated it. But I think we should, and this is, I did this from experience. My dad did this with me every night when I was growing up until I got, until I was too old for it.
Yeah.
But I just think at some point, when all your kids are at home, especially, sit them down, whether it's at a dining room table, make sure you're talking about important things.
Yeah.
Ask them what's going on in their life, pray for them, and read the Bible.
Yeah.
Just read. Last night, I'll tell you, we did this last night. Our memory verse for the week is Romans 3:10-12, which says, "There's not one, no one's righteous, no, not one. They've all sinned." So I opened the Bible to Romans 3, read that verse. Everybody was super depressed, and then I said, "Let's pray." I think we've overcomplicated that, but I think Christian parents, if you will, take them to church, talk to them, and then do the basic things with them.
That's great.
They'll be exactly where you want them.
That's good. Yeah.
The other avenue, we got to move forward.
Yeah.
So the one avenue that Christians can be faithful in every day is families. The other avenue they can be faithful in every day is work. And the reason I think these are two big avenues, this is where you're spending all your time. You're either at home or at work if you're a normal person. So how can Christians think about taking the Great Commission to work with them? What does that mean?
Yeah, I just think it's everywhere. We talked about it earlier. I feel like, we overcomplicate things when we categorize everything.
Yeah.
I think work's just one of the other places. If you're playing tennis, you should take them to tennis court.
Pickleball.
Pickleball. If Thanksgiving, you should take him to your family holiday event. So workplace for sure. The relationships you have, anywhere you have relationships, you should leverage your relationships for the gospel.
Yeah.
Period. The gospel is your greatest priority in your life. That's part of what we talked
That's
about
great.
Sunday.
Just being a part of who you are.
Whatever's your highest priority is what you're gonna. It's the motivation for everything else you do. So if you're working for the glory of God. And in some way, if you're really making disciples, if you're wanting to be a follower of Jesus who is a disciple maker, then that's not just exclusive to one or two categories.
You take it everywhere.
Everywhere you go.
Yeah, the reason I think work is such a big category to keep in your mind in the everywhere is that's where those are the people you spend the most time with outside of your family, right? If you're going to make an impact, we should think that it would be there. Let me give you an illustration.
Yeah.
Adrian Rogers. I was looking at something today, and Adrian Rogers told us illustration about the man who owned Armor Meats. Yeah, you ever been in a grocery store?
I have been to the grocery store.
Have you ever been to a grocery store in your life?
A few times in my life.
Have you ever seen Armor Meats in the grocery section, in the meat section?
I can't say that
it's
I
know.
It's
like bacon and stuff.
Okay, well, I've seen bacon.
Yeah. You're familiar with bacon?
It's one of my favorite meats.
It's from the pig.
You mean the pork? It's pork. Okay, so you're talking about pork, bacon pork.
I'm talking about
pork bacon.
Pork. Yes.
I put some of that in my chili.
Why would do you really?
The world's best chili. There's another word I leave out.
Yeah. We'll talk about
best chili in the world.
The guy who owned Armor Meats, Adrian Rogers said, a reporter or somebody came up to him one time and was like, Mr. Armor, what's your business?
Mr. Armor was his name. He named his meats after his
kind of proud.
Okay, gotcha.
He said, Mr. Armor, what's your business? He said, my business is winning people to Jesus. And the reporter said, no, Mr. Armor, you misunderstand me. What do you do for business? And the guy responded with, my business is winning people to Jesus. And the reporter got frustrated. He said, what do you do for work?
Right.
And Mr. Armor, is like he understood the question. He said, oh, I pack meat for a living, but my business is winning people to Jesus.
That's good, man.
I do think there's a shift that should happen in the Christian mindset that's what life becomes in general. So like we're talking about work. What's your work? Well, I'm winning people to the Lord. If I'm an accountant, if I'm a school teacher, if I'm a preacher, my business is the same. What you do for work is different.
That's good, man.
And so I think we need to use those categories to our aid, right? Like take Jesus with us everywhere we go. Family is a big deal. Home's a big deal, but work's a big deal too. And I think I just want people to know you don't have to go to Phoenix to be a missionary for Jesus.
Right.
You just have to go to work tomorrow to be a missionary for Jesus. You just have to go home.
You just have to go where God called you
That's
to.
Exactly
it's right. Like something we talked about yesterday is calling. I think we kind of can easily mystify calling and just be like, how do you know when God's calling you to something? But be open to God leading you. What to do, whatever. And it may be, again, Hayden planting the campus.
In Greenville.
Upstate Church, Greenville. There are people who should be open to God leading them to drive 30 minutes to be a part of that campus.
If you are listening to this, God is calling you to go to Upstate Church.
He very well may be. And honestly, I feel like I think we make it such a mystery to where we think, it's somebody else.
Yeah.
God calls us all, and we're all called to do mission. Just question of where.
Yeah. And I think the thing that we as a church, when I say we're a Great Commission church, we believe it's too important to not make that the main thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll close with what I closed with on Sunday. I like this a lot, but I think the mission is so important that we can't back up. We can't retreat. And I saw this. It said the French Foreign Legion. So we never brag on the French on this podcast. We're not big Francophiles.
They do make good soup.
Good French, good
onion soup. You know what they call French onion soup in France?
What, onion soup?
Onion soup. It's good though. Yeah. I've had it in France.
Do you know what? I'm a big fan of what they do with the potato.
The potatoes are great. French fries.
Yeah, that's what they're called.
Are amazing.
Anyway, the French Foreign Legion.
They're not Mexican fries. Although a minute ago, sorry, you mentioned bacon. It made me think of Camarones Flores. Have you ever had this?
Is it good?
Bacon wrapped shrimp stuffed with jalapenos.
Maybe you should cook those for me.
So bacon, I am a fan. Anyway, go ahead.
Are you going to cook those?
The French Foreign Legion.
Yeah, French Foreign Legion. They had their old motto was, if I falter, push me forward. If I fall, pick me up. If I retreat, shoot me.
I love that. You sent that in a text thread or something.
Yeah, and I think that's the mindset we want at Upstate Church. Just one more. Anything we can do to reach one more person for Jesus. This mission's too important to retreat. And that's what Charge On's all about.
No plan B.
No plan B. And so with that, we'll leave it with the people. You guys charge on, and we'll catch you next time.